Among the Diné, fire is sacred. We gather around it, we cook by it, we tell our stories beside it. But the old people taught that the most important fire is not the one in your hearth at all, it is the one inside you. And like any fire, if you stop tending it, it can go out. To understand why fire matters so much, you have to go back to the old stories, to a time when the people did not have it. In those stories, fire was held by Black Yei. He kept it for himself, and he had a reason. As long as he held the fire, he held the light. And as long as the people lived in the dark, he could keep them under his control. The darkness was how he ruled them. Now, Coyote was a selfish one. He wanted control over the people too, and he thought that if he could steal the fire, that power would be his. So he made his plan. He tied a bundle of dry juniper bark to his tail, and he crept close to Black Yei in the flame. He dipped his tail into the fire, and he ran. Black Yei was furious, but it was too late. Coyote was already carrying the fire out to the people. Coyote took it for his own reasons, but he did not understand what he had really done. The fire he carried was the one thing that could bring the people out of the dark. He had stolen the very thing that would set them free. There is something in that story worth sitting with. The one who wanted to control the people kept them in the dark. And the thing that set them free was a light. Hold on to that, because the rest of this teaching turns on it. And wherever you find someone trying to hold power over others, you will usually find them working to keep those others in some kind of dark. And wherever you find real freedom, you will usually find some kind of light. And once the people had fire, they saw what it could do. It cooked their food. It kept them warm through the cold nights. It kept the dangerous things away in the dark. Fire gave life. But the old people never spoke of fire as a small or simple thing, and they never let their children treat it that way. Because the same fire that cooks your food can burn down your home. The same flame that warms you can take everything from you. Fire has the power to harm and to destroy. So it was never something to take lightly. It was something to respect and to tend with care. And that brings us to the teaching at the center of all of this. The Diné say that fire is not only the thing you light in front of you. There are 4 fires, and most of them are not in any hearth. There's a fire in the mind. It is the one that gives truth to your thinking, that lets you reason clearly and see things as they are. Think of a person whose mind has gone dark. They stop asking whether a thing is true. They believe what they are told, even when it harms them, because that is easier than thinking it through. The fire in the mind is what keeps you from being led by lies. There is a fire in the heart. It is the one that gives truth to what you feel, that lets you love and grieve and care for other people. Think of a person whose heart has gone cold. They still function. They still go to work. They still speak to their family. But something in them has closed. The fire in the heart is what keeps you tender, even after life has given you reasons to harden. There is a fire in the body. It is the simplest of the 4 and the easiest to ignore. It is your strength, your health, your ability to rise in the morning and do what the day asks of you. When you stop tending it, when you stop resting and eating and moving as you should, that fire dims, and everything else becomes harder. And there is a fire in the spirit. It is the quietest of the 4, and the one people lose without noticing. It is the sense that you belong to something larger than yourself, that you are not alone in the world. A person can have a sharp mind, a warm heart, and a strong body, and still feel hollow inside because that 4th fire has gone out. A whole person, the old people said, keeps all 4 of these fires burning. Let even one of them go cold, and a part of you falls into the dark. And here is why the old people cared about these fires so much. Remember why Black Yei wanted to keep the fire from the people in the first place. He wanted them in the dark because in the dark there is no truth. In the dark, you cannot see what is in front of you, and you cannot understand what is happening to you. Fire is light, and to the Diné, that light is the light of truth, a light to see by, a light to understand, a light that lets you tell what is true from what is false. The old people said that when the fire finally reaches a person, something changes. They begin to see what they could not see before. They understand what they could not understand. And then, slowly, they change their ways and they begin to live by the truth they have found. That is the whole purpose of the fire. When you keep a flame burning in the night, it does not only warm you, it wipes the darkness away. This is what the old people meant when they said you must always keep your fire. They were not only talking about the coals in the fire pit, they were talking about the light you live by. A person who lets their inner fire go out does not just grow cold. They lose their way because they can no longer see the path in front of them. And the four fires are not separate. They feed one another. When the fire in your body is strong, it is easier to keep your mind clear. When the fire in your spirit is alive, it is easier to keep your heart open. And when one of them goes out, it pulls at the others. A cold heart can darken the mind. A dim spirit can drain the body. This is why the old people watched all four and not just one. You cannot let yourself go dark in one place and stay whole in the rest. And this teaching does not stay inside one person. It reaches all the way into the home. When you have a home, the old people said, you keep a fire burning in it. And that fire is not only for you and your family, it is for whoever comes to your door. When a traveler arrives out of the cold and the dark, that fire is what welcomes him. It warms him. It cooks the food you set in front of him. And it offers him, for a little while, a place of light and truth in a dark night. A home with a living fire is a home that gives. Your fire was never meant to be kept only for yourself. The Diné honored fire in their ceremonies too. There are certain ceremonies for certain kinds of sickness where the fire itself is part of the healing. And there is one the old people remembered from the summer. Young men would paint their bodies white and take a bundle of juniper bark and light it into a torch. They would carry that burning brand through the gathering, and at the right moment they would throw it among the crowd. It looks fierce, but the meaning behind it is gentle. It was a way of teaching one thing over and over so the people would never forget it. Keep your fire going. Keep it burning. Never let it die out. Because that was the heart of the instruction. You must always have a way to make fire and a fire to keep going. Even in the warm months when no one needed the heat, the old people would keep a single coal alive in the ashes of the fire pit. Just one coal glowing quietly under the gray. And when they needed flame again, they would lay a little juniper bark on that coal and breathe on it, and the fire would come back to life. It is the same with the four fires inside you. You do not have to keep them all blazing every day of your life, but you must never let all of them go cold at once. Keep one coal alive even in your hardest season, even when you feel you have nothing left. Because as long as one coal still glows, the fire can always return. So tonight, sit quietly for a moment and ask yourself an honest question. Which of your four fires has gone dim? Is it the fire in your mind that stopped looking for the truth? The fire in your heart that went cold toward the people around you? The fire in your body that you stopped caring for? Or the fire in your spirit that you let fall silent? Whichever one it is, you do not have to leave it that way. That is the mercy in this teaching. You do not have to build the fire back from nothing. You only have to find one coal still glowing somewhere inside you and breathe on it. A little attention, a little care, a single honest prayer. That is often enough to bring the flame back. and you tend each fire the way you would tend any fire, a little at a time. You feed the mind with truth by asking honest questions again instead of swallowing easy answers. You feed the heart by letting yourself care for someone even when it would be safer not to. You feed the body with rest and food and movement, and you feed the spirit by sitting in the quiet and remembering that you are part of something larger than yourself. None of it happens all at once, but a fire never needs all at once. It only needs to be kept. You do not have to be Diné to live by this. Take what helps you here and make it stronger in your own life. And if this gave you a little light today, subscribe and walk the good path with us. There are more of these teachings still to tell. Thank you for listening and for listening with respect. And those are the things we are told. The